All right, we got to hear from Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis earlier in the day. The first time we've heard her speak since she ultimately prevailed when Donald Trump and the other co-defendants in the Fulton County, Georgia RICO case tried to have her disqualified. Here's what she had to say to CNN. You're going to want to watch this. Play the clip.
All while that was going on, we were writing responsive briefs. We were still doing the case in the way that it needed to be done. I don't feel like we've been slowed down at all. I do think that there are efforts to slow down this train, but the train is coming.
You heard Fani Willis. She said the train is coming, and she says we haven't been slowed down at all. Sure, these MAGA Republicans and these lawyers for Trump and Trump's co-defendant, they tried to go after me, but they didn't take me down. And you know the expression, when you shoot the king, you better not miss. And in this case, bad move missing when you try to shoot the queen herself. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. By the way, speaking of that, this is Ashley Merchant speaking this week. So you saw Fani Willis there post her victory in the motion. Although, look, Donald Trump and the co-defendants are appealing it. They got a certification from Judge Scott McAfee to appeal it. So I want to mention that. But this is what Ashley Merchant said on Fox. She's the lawyer for Michael Roman, and Merchant is the one who is really leading these proceedings against Fani Willis. Remember, this is the photo of Merchant. She was a big fan of Nathan Wade, who's now been removed from the prosecution team, and she was the one who got the initial info and started going after Nathan Wade and Fani Willis for their personal lives. And here's what Ashley Merchant said on Fox. Play this clip.
You know, the judge did not think you met the burden, but taking a big picture for a second. I mean, we all remember this moment when Fani Willis, the DA, held up the paperwork and the motions, actually requested the motions that she could hold up for you in court. You accused her of lying. She accused you of the same in open court. How do you respond to that?
I mean, at the time, I wasn't the one who was testifying. I very much wish I could have been testifying. And so that was difficult because, you know, when you're an advocate and you're in court, you're asking the questions, you don't really get the opportunity to testify. And I had to wait until the judge ruled, you know, out of fairness, until he ruled on the motion before I could actually address those issues. But it's very unfortunate when someone is calling you something and you know that it's not true and you can't really defend yourself.
That seemed to be her point too, right?
Right. Well, but she had the opportunity on the stand. You know, she had the opportunity on the stand. She had the ability to bring other evidence. If she wanted, she could have brought other evidence. And I can tell you, if someone was accusing me of having an affair that I wasn't having, and I had evidence such as text records, such as phone records, such as credit card receipts, you better believe I would have brought that to court.
I mean, doesn't that just sum up, though, MAGA for you and Trumpism in a nutshell right there? I mean, she's basically saying, oh, they're coming after me. They're accusing me of something that's not true. You know, Ashley Merchant, of all people right now, is whining that she is being treated unfairly. Like, are you kidding me? Although I do want to give a hat tip to Georgia Democratic Senator Jones, Harold Jones, for his cross-examination of Ashley Merchant that he did a few weeks back. Here, play this clip.
Ubers on each of these trips. There was a hotel at the beginning of the Royal Bahamas. I didn't include that. I didn't want to do the math, and I also did not want to.
And how much does Ms. Willis make?
200 and something thousand a year.
So your argument is that a person who makes $200,000 a year is actually setting up prosecutions to go on a trip that costs $3,500. That's your argument?
No, not in isolation. I mean, you're talking about in isolation.
No, I'm not talking about in isolation. I'm talking about what's in briefs. I don't know what else you may be speculating about. I'm just talking about what's in briefs that says this is the benefit that she got. And all I'm saying is that I got a person who's making $200,000, and the benefit that you're putting into the briefs, not what you may say that you may find elsewhere, but the benefit in the briefs is I go on a trip for $3,300, $4,400. And they have made up all these prosecutions to go on a 3-day cruise for $3,300. I mean, that's your argument. If that's your argument, that's your argument.
That's not.
That's in the brief.
That's not our argument. So we did argue for about 3 hours.
What else is in the brief?
What else is in the brief?
Yes.
A lot of facts, a lot of law.
No, as far as actual financial benefit.
So the financial benefit that I put in the brief was what I could prove. I did not want to have any, as you call it, speculation. I did not want to speculate about anything else. So I did not know if Mr. Wade paid for an Uber that Miss Willis was literally sitting in at the same time. You can kind of...
And look, give her credit. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis took the stand as Ashley Merchant tried to cross-examine her. And you recall what Fani Willis said when she took the stand? She said, "I think you're confused, Miss Merchant, what this is actually all about." Remember that moment? Play this clip.
So your office objected to us getting Delta records for flights that you may have taken with Mr. Wade.
No. Look, I object to you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives. You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
So my question was...
And look, I've been very critical of Judge Scott McAfee for turning something that should have been much to do about nothing. I think he should have performed better gatekeeping functions here and really focused on the surgical issue of conflict of interest instead of allowing these hearings to devolve into the kind of personal lives of whether individuals were involved in, intimate relationships. Because at the end of the day, that just plays into just the nastiness of MAGA and Donald Trump. And last week, when Donald Trump gave a speech at one of his traveling fascist circus events that he likes to call rallies, here's what he had to say. Here, play this clip.
Fani. It's spelled Fanny. It's spelled Fanny like your ass, right, Fanny? But when she became DA, she decided to add a little French, a little fancy. Fani. Fani and Mr. and Mrs. Wade, which his wife did not appreciate. His wife didn't appreciate. Can you imagine these two people trying to take down I'm a very popular president. I mean, again, I got more votes than any sitting president in history. We have these two lowlifes trying to take down a president of the United States. But, equally bad.
And then Donald Trump had his, I guess she's still being called a lawyer, Alina Habba, go on Fox. And because Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans want to call Fani Willis by the incorrect name, Alina Habba acts like a immature third grade bully. No offense to immature third grade bullies that I'm comparing you to Alina Habba, but play the clip.
What do you think it means for whether or not he will decide to remove Fani Willis from this case? What does your gut tell you on this, Alina?
I don't think it's indicative necessarily of his actions in terms of Fani. I think that Fani, whatever she calls herself, she's got her own issues that are outside of this case that clearly have permeated her decision-making ability. And
of course, you'll recall that in the courtroom, I showed you Ashley Merchant, but this is what Donald Trump's lawyer, Steve Sadow, was saying in his closing arguments about Fani Willis. He said Fani Willis did not tell her own father about her sexual relationships, and that she should have. That was one of the big arguments that Trump tried to make to Judge McAfee, and then they referred to Fani Willis's father as daddy. Here, play this clip of Trump's lawyer.
No one knew that there was a relationship between Wade and Willis, according to Wade and Willis. Not a soul was ever told that they were dating or that there was an intimate relationship. Ever. They concealed it from all parties. From Daddy. Daddy didn't even know they had a relationship. Suggest that somehow in the beginning of 2021, January to whatever it was into April, that they couldn't have met in Hapeville. They didn't meet anywhere that would allow the public to see them.
And again, it's all projection and confession, of course, right? Like here's Don Jr. trying to sell his daddy's book, which Trump didn't actually write. He just basically put together letters that he received from foreign dictators, basically. And Don Jr. is trying to sell it for his daddy. Play the clip.
Guys, super excited about this book. I put it together with my friends at Winning Team Publishing. This is Letters to Trump.
Back to Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. You'll recall right around the time the indictment was handed down what she said, that she will not be intimidated. Play this clip.
There's some people who say that there are already now 3 indictments against the former president. They argue that even if there were crimes committed here in Fulton County, a 4th indictment isn't worth all the work that would come with it. To people who say that, what would you say?
That I took an oath, and that the oath requires that I follow the law, that if someone broke the law in Fulton County, Georgia, that I have a duty to prosecute. That's exactly what I plan to do. Earlier.
And if you'll allow me, I want to share with you a brief portion of my interview with Georgia Democratic State Senator Harold Jones. Wanted to make sure I reference his state senator. I got to interview him because I was so impressed with his cross-examination of Ashley Merchant. I just wanted to ask him, like, what are people talking about in Georgia right now? And one of the things he said is, look, the Georgia State Senate wants to focus on, crap like sexual relations of Fani Willis, when a reality is what people care about is healthcare. What people care about are things that they need to live and survive. So let me just play this clip because, I think state senators don't get highlighted enough. And Harold Jones, state senator from Georgia, deserves a lot of praise for the work that he's doing there. And you get a sense of what a great person he is in the interview I conducted with him. Here, play this clip. And Senator, we hear a lot of commentators talking about polls, what they believe is happening on the ground in Georgia. You represent Augusta, Georgia as a state senator. What are you seeing people are talking about here in this election season? What are the issues that people are concerned about? And how do you evaluate the kind of current dynamic at play right now?
I think the current dynamic is persons are somewhat tired on some level of politics in general, but they're getting more engaged again now. And so where you see some of the polls show that President Biden may be behind, but what I'm seeing on the ground is persons are becoming more energized. They're getting ready to really start the process and start going out there and working. One of the major issues that are affecting the state of Georgia, Georgia is only one of 10 states now that has not expanded Medicaid. We're still trying to push that this year, and we're still got 2 weeks to do that left in our session, and we're actually trying to make sure that takes place. That is huge for us. 400,000 Georgians are not insured, and so we want to make sure that takes place. And so that was one of the points that I was also making, is that we're taking time away from doing that type of work, which is very important, to actually engage in a process, this process here that we really have no control over. It's nice for the media and things of that nature, but that hearing that we have of Ms. Merchant has no effect on the Georgia Senate. We have no control over those prosecutors. We have no control over that particular process. It really, quite frankly, it was a waste of time. And apparently we're going to continue to do them. So we'll see how that takes place.
So folks, tell me what you think. Leave a comment below. We're on our way to 3 million subscribers thanks to your awesome and incredible support. I think we can get there by this summer with your help. Share the MeidasTouch Network with friends, family members, coworkers, colleagues. Oh, by the way, did you know that we are starting a MeidasTouch, or we started a MeidasTouch true crime channel with David Arenberg? A lot of people said, Ben, we love your hot takes, but maybe you can do some legal hot takes that don't necessarily always involve like Donald Trump and the Republican Party and MAGA. And so we're not changing anything we do here on this channel, but if you go look up True Crime MTN on YouTube, check it out. It's being led by David Arenberg, who's one of our correspondents here. And so he and other top legal analysts are going to give some legal analysis there as well. That's going to be entirely separate from the work we continue to do here. So just search on YouTube, True Crime MTN. I think you'll enjoy it. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.